All right, guys, welcome back to ESL One North American Qualifiers in Burbank, California. So we did just see Liquid move on. They take out Tempo Storm, and now we're going to have the next matchup in the other group. That's going to be eLevate versus Team Mythic. That's right, and eLevate yesterday actually completely obliterated Maximum Effort in the lower bracket, 16-3. It was a really solid performance. XP3 played well with the off. He's gone back to that primary role. Daps obviously in-game leading for them. First LAN with this lineup, and it's been looking good. A player for me that also stood out was Akis, the new boy on the roster. Yeah, Akis has made some huge plays yesterday when they played against Maximum Effort on Cobble, made this aggressive push back over on the CT side, constantly finding frags and very rarely actually going down. He knew pretty often when to push and when to fall back for his team. So really strategical player. I mean, you talked about XP3. XP3's movement overall with the off, he didn't play one default position every time on B side. He kept moving himself around to try and, you know, throw a curveball at the opponent team, and Maximum Effort just could not find any rounds against him. That game ended 16-3, as we just mentioned. Yeah, it was shut down defense, and I think that point about Akis, XP3 even brought it up in the post-game interview that this is his first event, so him to get those kills, him to be that effective, just does massive amounts for his individual confidence. And in a Mirage map also where XP3, that mobility can come into play, whether it's catwalk, whether it's A, whether it's peeking window, a lot of things you can do with it. But Mythic really stood out as well. They had some good games yesterday. I mean, almost taking down CLG, making that massive comeback. They're a team that, you know, in the midst of all this turmoil, they actually stuck together, banded together really, really well in those matchups yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And again, for him in his first event to come in that solid, it's, you know, you kind of get two approaches with your first lane. You either do really, really well, and then it plateaus later, or you completely bomb. Right. And that's the more common approach, it seems, with especially at a lane of this much importance. And this one, unlike the Group A, is not a direct rematch because obviously Noble didn't make it through. It was Tempo and Liquid in a rematch. This one's not because Maximum Effort played Mythic in the first game. Now they play eLevate. And Maximum Effort, obviously, with the most stylish jerseys at the event, no longer wearing Luminosity jerseys, have a lot to prove. They definitely have a lot to play for in this event, and I think that they seem very focused. Devilwalks obviously brought a lot of structure to this team. Yeah, absolutely. Their first match yesterday, they pulled off a very convincing victory, brought it extremely close, but were able to come out in the end over the Maximum Effort guys, but of course facing a little bit of trouble against CLG. I mean, they almost brought it back in that game too. We saw that CLG had a really strong lead, and they started to bring it back towards the end of Dust too, but fell just a little bit too short there due to the extremely large lead that they had given them earlier on in the match. Yeah, and the big thing for me with Mythic is Devilwalk always talking about this is a project. This isn't going to be an overnight change, but he's got them in the right direction right now. One thing to note about them that these players spoke about last night is Fallen was with them to really help them out, and they appreciated that so much. They don't have him today. He's not here today, so they're not going to have that second voice, you know, keeping them calm and everything. And as you can see, we are going to be playing this one on Mirage. Talked about it a little bit earlier. But, I mean, these two teams, this is that map that lends itself to those op duels. Peter, XP3, I mean, that's the battle that we're going to be hoping to find in that middle portion of the map, trying to vie for that control. And yeah, it's the first time we've seen this map all weekend as well. We'd only seen 4 maps up to this point. So it's good to see a change in pace. I think that the experience of Devilwalk in a map like this, and Pith plays it very well. I mean, you look at the statistics, North America versus EU, this is probably still the most one-sided map between those two. So I do think that Mythic XLG could be in a pretty decent position. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Also, I mean, this is a map that North Americans aren't known for, you know, being the greatest at, but these interregional matchups, sometimes this is just going to turn into those duels coming up the ramp, coming out the palace, and in middle. So it's a knife round, boys. I'm going to let you take it away. All right, guys. So we're live in the knife round now, and while we are waiting for that to close, Sadicus predictions for this matchup. Who do you think is going to win and to move on and take on Cloud9 in the next match? I mean, this one is really 50-50. Unlike the other side where Liquid obviously won yesterday against Tempo Storm and looked the better team in that match, it's not as clear-cut here. I really do think if Mythic can bring the experience of, you know, Devilwalk and Pith into this, if they can win those op duels with Peter over XP3, they could have the advantage here. But eLevate yesterday just looked so well composed in that lower bracket game that it's really hard to write them off. So, I mean, you're going to put me on the spot. I have to make a prediction. I'm going to go on a whim here and actually say Mythic take this, but that could be easily wrong as it is right. No, yeah, there's definitely a surprise factor with eLevate, but unfortunately, I just haven't seen all that much of them yet. They are, I mean, we talked about the Dark Horse factor a little bit with Noble yesterday, but really now these guys sort of seem to have it at this point. As again, this is still a fairly new roster. They really only played in 1 or 2 competitive sets, I should say, since the roster was formed and since they came here to play at the qualifier, and they seem to have a very convincing lineup. But again, on a map like Mirage, which historically, of course, EU teams have been a lot better at, and North American teams really don't like to play on this map. And when you consider that 2 out of 5 players from the Mythic roster are Europeans, and you have the former coach of Fnatic on your squad, that definitely leans a lot of the match in your favor, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, he brings a lot of experience as well, right? But keep in mind, you know, they did get rid of Nafly, who's now going to be playing against them, to bring in Devilwalk. And a lot of people argued that an individual skill and straight-up fragging potential, that Nafly
potentially was the better of the two. Again, though, bringing in the structure goes a long way. Now, again, going to eLevate, where I said Mythic might take this, the wild card for me, again, is Akis, where he's just so new into this. If he can play like he did yesterday and the rest of the team has that consistent performance that they seem to have, you know, time and time again, and he can stand out, there's a really good chance that their T side will get rolling. But we're getting underway. It's the pistol round already, and eLevate starts CT.
Mythic on the T side now, pushing 3 over into the back alley. 2 more with the bomb lined up over by the T ramp at this point. Not going to push him just yet. They will use this and actually move it into underpass now to try and take mid-control. I'm really a big fan of this strategy here, as it does give you a lot of elements to work with, and already picking up the first frag here. They're going to drop XP3, but this will sound the alarms very early due to the push XP3 had caused. Now Daps is going to get opportunity. He jumps out. He picks up a headshot there. He's going to take out Devil Walk, but Anger quickly correcting that with the Tech 9. Akis, though, he finds a nice headshot. Nap as well picking off another one, and this is brought into a 3-on-2. Mythic having trouble getting onto that site due to the smokes that they themselves placed. And now the players here from eLevate can't seem to, or apologies, the players from Mythic can't really seem to get that bomb down and finish it off. But Anger again with another headshot brings it into a 2-on-2 and leaves the potential alive to maybe win this round yet.
And the biggest mistake made, I mean, it was really good play to get the pistols through, you know, the underpass in through connector. 3 of them running in that route with the other 2 coming in from main. The issue they made was they left catwalk, or connector rather, entirely open, and Nafly was able to take down the bomb planner, not even covered just by single peeking. But Anger and Pith, they're going to close out the round, so it still goes the way of Mythic, as it almost turned backwards with the efficiency of Nafly and Akis on those reverse entries.
And now we'll see what buys Mythic are going to try to pick up here to try to keep that T-side aggression rolling. As for eLevate, we take a look, and Dap's already going for that upgrade, so it looks like it will be a second-round force to try and even out the scores. Everybody emptying out the banks here. A scout being picked up by XP3, CZ on Daps, and a couple P250s and another CZ as well onto Naf here. And already Mythic lining up for that push into the A site, but they do have a 3-stack further up onto the site. 2 more inside of jungle now, as they are going to actually be in the perfect position to counter this out, but now they've got to win those aim deals, and Pith already putting it out there. 2 for him, and Rush going to find a headshot there on Lex as he tries to work his way in from Palace, but it's not going to work out. Devil Walk as well, and Anger again, now bringing it down to XP3, and he'll get eliminated as well.
So low on HP for 4 players here from Mythic. That could have gone terribly wrong because, again, they had 3 rifles bought into that round, so losing that much investment early on could have been detrimental, but so far so good. They're going to stay into this one. Lex, of course, he did have the Galili's down to 33, so he's going to have to be a little bit more conservative this time as they get ready for the gun round that ensues beyond this, as, again, full save as well on the CT side, as they want to have as many utilities as possible to delay these pushes on A. So important to get smokes out, but the entry from Pith right now, he won the duel last time. He's got 3 in front of him here, and it's going to be Anger to take the first. Pith, he comes out with an 8 kill and a headshot onto Akis. So far, very composed from him.
No surprises really coming out in this round now, as it is brought down just to Daps. He's left alive in a 1-on-5, and now everybody rushing over towards him here, almost picking off one of them, but won't be happening. In Mythic with your fairly typical cleanup now to start the match off at a 3-0 scoreline.
But here we go. This is the gun round we talked about. Not enough money to bring out the op, but again, by going for the full save, they do have a smoke on 3 players. Akis, Naf, who have both been playing on the A site, Rush as well, and then flashes to contribute to that. No Molotovs, so they won't have that to slow things down as much, but again, it's the smokes on A that really dictate this game, and the first one, by default, already out on A main. Akis is going to push up as a result of that, as Peter looks to go toward middle, and there it is. The op already coming into play from the T side. He's going to win the first duel and the second on Naf, who tries to push forward down the ramp. The smoke's out on Catwalk as well, so this will allow them to push forward without the third presence, that off-angle peak, but Pith pushing through it needs to be aware that XP3 is at the top of the ladder, and he wins at least 1 back for his team.
Still a possible situation here for eLevate now as they bring it into a 3-on-4, but they're going to have to be very, very careful, of course, with Mythic taking more and more control of this map. They do have full mid control for now, but not really going anywhere with it, and in fact, looking like they're going to fall back now and possibly try to work this into the back alley. And then to be as the bomb carrier now joins number 6 man, and that's going to be Lex as he's slowly gaining control of that. But overall here, this opening play, although it does take out 2 of the players from eLevate, not going to net them all that much control as they still have to go for a take on the B site, but it does cause the rotation of 2 players over towards A, and Devil Walk here in a moment is going to try to sell that.
And he's got a chance to sell it. Daps very low. So if Daps does end up dropping down, even though Anger's on 1 HP on the other side of the site, if Daps drops down, actually it's going to be Akis. It's going to hold the other player. They have to hold. But Akis getting that kill. Now it's XP3 to make the call. They're both going to rotate over quickly, and XP3 might just do enough here on his own. Lex is going to one-up that, though, as he gets in behind the bench, gets that kill. They need to get this bomb in place. They've got the time to do it, but they've got to make it happen quickly before the arrival gets there, and Peter's going to hold that angle. Akis not even able to cross the window, and now he's staring toward the door because he knows the last player also has to come from that direction, and Daps in the 1 versus 2, very low on HP.
Peter definitely saving this round for the team and definitely making this round for his team now, as we're going to see Daps peeking out here in a second. Peter actually misses the shot, but now they have that position out in the open here as Daps tries to play it out. No kit on him either. So probably looking like the 4th round getting picked up here, but Daps actually will be taking down Lex. He's going to be pushing Peter in a second, so maybe able to drop the op at least, but at 2 HP, drag Peter down to 20. Peter tries to take a blind shot and misses, and Daps actually going to eliminate him, so an economical victory at best for eLevate, but he is going to go down as well, and Mythic will be picking up a 4th.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing in that situation. Obviously, he did well to pick up that first kill, but the time was against him. Peter played that right to not peek, but taking that op down, they have to rebuy it. If he stays alive even with the op, it's so much more economy moving forward. Now they have to basically keep that up into the next round, or he's going to have to get it dropped out by a teammate, even if they can even win this against this eco. So play smart, play conservative. We'll see how eLevate approach this. They're going to put 3 directly in A and aggressively in A as well.
And we are going to see a pretty aggressive play coming out from the Mythic players as they already move their way into the site here. eLevate trying to play it for it, but the flash is coming out. Not going to let them have much room. XP3 is going to get 1, but it's a 1-for-2 trade, and now it's actually a 2-for-2 trade. You should mention the dualies as well, hiding inside of Firebox there, being used by Akis at the moment. And he's actually going to pick up Pith with it. Now he's looking for a second one. They haven't spotted him yet, but he has this absolutely horrible reload time that he has to go through. Peter's going to come in there. He's going to drop Akis, and now it's Daps left alive. But look at how low Peter and Anger are. 2 HP left on Anger. He may have a chance to clutch this yet. He just has to wait for the perfect opportunity. He's going to get sights on him here in a second. Jumps up and finds the shot, so eLevate. Daps clutching it out there, finally putting a point onto the board.
And there it is. Now you go back to the last round where they forced those drops. They got everyone down despite losing it and winning the eco. This is exactly what we saw in the Liquid game against Tempo Storm in the first half. That this single eco is going to pull the economy back so much for eLevate and breaks Mythic. So absolutely heartbreaking that eco happened as it did.
And perfect timing here, too, because Mythic were just starting to get to that point on their T rounds where they really need to stop letting them run away with them. Had they have gotten to 5 to 6 rounds with no response from eLevate, it would have been horrible, and you could expect a really good half from them. And obviously, with this map being what it is, you do not want to let them stack up that many T rounds, especially not this early in the half. But now we have the play opening up. The first frag will go the way of eLevate, as they are going to take down Peter. Rush as well, holding inside a connector, dropping 2 more there. Great peek for him, switching it over to the pistol, finding another one there as he takes him out. But Pith finally able to pick up something for the Mythic players. He's going to find a headshot on Nap, but Daps, of course, able to respond and take out Pit as well.
And even better, they continue to be efficient, so now their economy builds even more. Daps, 79 after buying just out a few utilities as well. That was the first round we saw XP3 get the op out, and he took it from a different approach, came in from Catwalk to hit that first shot. So now he's going to be a threat because still they have to save. They're going to force up. Okay, so they get out the second AK onto Devil Walk, but they've got to keep Pith onto that Tech 9. And no op for Peter. So just like that, it turns around because we saw what happened in the first gun round where Peter picked up 2 at mid. And how much of an impact he can have. So this is looking good for eLevate, and they're going to play this 3 mid. This is similar to how Fnatic tend to go out of spawn. Daps is already on Catwalk. He's actually going to push forward into the Horseshoe, but they've got Rush and Connector who took the initial peek, and XP3 is there to support with the op as well. So really good early mid presence. Now they're going to get information as well from Daps, and they're already rotating XP3 and Rush back over to A.
If we ended up seeing Naf push in there too, they would probably get the intel that they're obviously only having Devil Walk playing the back alley at this point. Devil Walk will be going to his team at the moment, but it looks like we are actually going to go to a listen in here on eLevate, so we can go ahead and go to that now, I suppose.
Yeah. Watch jungle, Rush. They gotta rush us.
I'm
They smoke me off, I'm going CT. You alone, Rush.
Fine.
You're there? I don't know.
I don't know, I don't see anything. They get a fake, and they get a fake, and they get a fake.
One up.
One flashing A-ramp coming up, maybe?
Jungle.
Got one,
Bomb there.
Bomb down.
You got my mid? Flash Tetris, come on.
Flashing.
Jungle, stairs.
What?
Stairs.
Jungle, dude, jungle. They're in jungle.
Jungle.
And connector, bottom connector.
Connector and jungle. Jungle.
Let's
Jungle.
jungle. Watching spawn.
Speaking me.
He peeked wide. Stairs. Nice, David, good shit.
I didn't even know they're in jungle. I didn't even know they bought.
I said jungle because they did a kaboom strat. When it comes to kaboom,
What a great round from Akis to slow that down. The initial Molotov, they put out the wall of smokes inside the site, similar to how we see Na'Vi do it. Kaboom did it, Keat Stars. They want to rush into the site, get a very quick bomb plan out of that, but that single Molotov that was thrown out on the ramp slowed them down. It actually caused a bit of confusion because we heard them say, are they there? Like, is this a fake? But Akis being able to spray through and XP3 playing efficient. The call at jungle was made, and Rush actually looked the wrong direction when he came back out. That could have turned the round back, but Akis and XP3 really well held. Now it's going to be a B rush right now from Mythic and Nafly. First time he's tested, only able to pick up 1, but what a nade from the grave. Nafly, how perfect was that? A little bit of martyrdom, as it's going to be Lex to at least come back into Daps, but he's 1 on 3.
And then they just completely killed that round for Mythic too. They had a little bit of momentum trying to work their way into the site, but it's all going to get completely destroyed. They lost 2 players there. As you said, the nade coming out post-death. So Naf actually coming out with 3 frags that round. 2 of them being with a frag grenade, and now we're going to be tied up at 4-4 here as Mythic take us into another buy round.
XP3 with the op. Peter's got his back. That's the big thing here. So we will see this duel for the first time that they've each had the weapon. And XP3 is already heading toward the window. Peter's already heading toward mid, so it should transpire quite quickly. A little bit of hesitation on the initial peek from both Anger and Peter. Now Pith's going to join in. They want to make sure connector's clear. There is a smoke out on both spots now, so late smokes. In fact, there's a third on Catwalk, so they're going to get to push up, but Rush is able to spray through and just see over the edge of that. And that'll give eLevate the one-man advantage. XP3's rotated out of window, so there's still a chance for a bit of a boost, but Daps has acted accordingly, and he's gone at the top of ladder, so even if they go for that, it's covered off, and now XP3 can support inside A a little bit stronger. And look how much this has slowed down Mythic. They're stuck in mid.
Yep, they don't want to take a chance on pushing this through, and we've seen this quite a bit for them when they've taken mid control, despite that fact that they actually get control of middle itself. eLevate do a good job of covering off the rest of the angles, and they don't really let them get control of something like Cat or Connector that they could use to push into a site. So more than likely what's going to happen here is we'll see the Mythic guys force back, and they'll have to try to just go for a default entry onto a site, as they're really not going to be able to get into Connector or Cat for that matter without taking a risk and then getting peeked by a player from eLevate.
And NAF has started to push up in the B apartments, so they'll slowly limit off the map here, get the information. Daps spots up one on the initial peek. That tells XP3 the information, so he goes for the shot, takes down Lex and Rush. He's going to hold true. That's his second kill from Connector. Hasn't needed to leave the position. Devilwalk at least salvages one. But XP3 is definitely dominating the op battle right now. Solid performance from him over the last 2 rounds, and Rush is going to close it out.
And that's basically what we said there. Unfortunately, Mythic, if they wanted to try and work their way in and do that dual ramp as well as mid-take, they would have to take a risk on peeking that. And because they left XP3 there and they didn't have a smoke left to re-smoke the window, their XP3 just popped right out, found those 2 players, as I said, got the intel out, and they just closed in from there and stopped them. And then they only had to worry about the ramp entry, which wasn't too bad. Now eLevate really starting to stack things up. Still complete full buys here. Mythic on another save round, unfortunately, with all assortments of pistols at this point.
And remember that Eco started this comeback, so the lost round bonus is starting to accumulate, but the more important thing is that Mythic hasn't been able to get bomb plants down as of late. They need to get these bombs in so they can get consistent buys combined with that bonus. So right now it's going to be another save, and the priority #1 should be getting that bomb in position this round. They're going to try and do so on A. 2 players already crossed inside onto jungle. Peter and Lex waiting in the ramp, and Pith is looking, Pith is looking to come in once they join, and now they will.
And that Molly's going to slow them down so much. eLevate already able to rotate in there. It's a 3 for none now for eLevate as they just completely destroy them. That's a 4th. Rush, I should say, looking to pick up the last one. Anger will be able to claim Rush, of course, but NAF quick on the response there, takes him out. And now eLevate starting to come back into this and leading by 2 points against Mythic.
I mean, the other aspect, too, is with this lost round bonus, they continue to go for Peter's op, which, yes, it's great when you can get it out, but it also means a lot more economy spent in these individual rounds. So they need to pick this up here.
And I mean, he was able to make that play before in mid where he was able to take out 2, and that opened up a lot of avenues for his team. If they can bring out something like that again and they can put him into a position where he can obtain a play like that, then that's going to be huge, and they can easily swing things back. But unfortunately, that's a play that has to happen mainly due to the luck and due to the placement of eLevate's players. So we have to see if they go for that. They are set up with 3 sort of in middle right now. One's on Cat, one's in Connector, and one, of course, in the window room. So if they tried to play aggressive there, they would find it. But most of Mythic at this point, 3 arching over towards the B site, and then 2 as well trying to fake towards A. And
they need to play this smart. They need to find picks because, again, if they can't get a bomb down in this round, they need to stay efficient. Because if they reset that bonus without the bomb plant going in and going forward, they're going to be in a tough spot. It's got to be efficient here if they take this round. So Pith is going to go back to grab the bomb, and they'll make the decision soon. They pulled Daps back just with that single smoke, but Devilwalk lurking in, managing to pick up 1. Now it's Lex on Nafly, so this is starting off perfectly. Lex killing Naf will hold Daps in B.
They think it's A
Rush
as
and
well.
XP3 have to split this out, but again, it's weakened on A.
And now they're going to move into that one as the Rush did go for the position to watch out for a connector push in there. Daps actually holds B, so they can get that solid call that it's going to be coming into A. But first, look at Rush, actually. For some reason, he's going back towards underpass. He's trying to scout out a push over through the back halls, but that's not going to be the case now. It's coming out ramp, and now he's completely mispositioned. XP3 doing a good job of holding. Pith trying to line up the shot, but he can't find it yet, dropping him down to 22 XP. All right, I punched that HP.
This nade, though. Pith well thrown, and they also have the smoke on the top of the stairs, so this allows Pith now to cross. And just in time, because those smokes were about to dissolve, so that nade works wonders to get him in position, and there's the bomb down. As we see another smoke bloom at the top of CT. Daps those spams through it, catches out Pith, but there is good post-plant positions from both Peter all the way back on the A ramp and Anger, who will be able to spot the bomb. And when they come back in, and Peter's not even going to allow Rush to get over toward this site. That does give Daps the information that he's in the ramp. He'll try and bait this out, but he doesn't have the information on the second player. He's assuming that he's inside the palace, but it doesn't matter. Peter's going to get the shot, take it down, and well done by Mythic to answer back.
And they played that exactly right, as you had mentioned before. They needed to play that fake correctly and throw them for a run, and that's exactly what happened. They had that Devilwalk peek come out there, and the player here, I believe it was Rush, had assumed it was going to come A at that point, so he repositioned himself for a push that would come in there through Connector. There was nothing coming there. The push was going to come from B, but after they met a little bit of trouble in B, they fell back. They already had partial control of A, and they just pushed in there, and that again caused a reposition of Rush, who tried to go through underpass, and unfortunately found himself way out of position to hold the site when the entry actually came in.
And again, they're going to go back to a similar strategy here with Pit and Lex lurking inside apartments. There is a single smoke out on Nafly again, so Daps, same thing, has to come back off catwalk just to be sure that if Naf goes down, he's in position to help. And Rush is going to push underpass earlier this time, so the anticipation was that they would have to rotate out of B and Rush could catch them in the transition. This time he might be able to get the flank on Lex, who's found the first kill inside B. Daps, again, though, is there. So Peter's still not going to move forward with that bomb. But Rush is getting closer. Rush is actually in perfect position right now to catch off Lex, who continues to look toward B for more. And Rush just has to make sure he plays this right. Doesn't whiff on the shot, and it's perfect. Easy kill for him. That brings it back. And Akis now on A as they try and execute. Again, without bomb, is going to get a kill. But look at this. Because of that single execution, they think the fake has already hit B. Peter might walk in and get a straight plant out of this.
He's taking his time for now, keeping it quiet, which is going to be good because Rush was still pretty close to him. So Rush will camp in that area. He's going to have to be the one first responder here, but won't have it. And now Peter's walking into the site and has realized he just got it for free, so he's going to get that plant down. Unfortunately, extremely separated from Devil Walk right now, so it's going to be hard for him to try and regroup and hold that site. So all pressure is going to be put on to Peter at this point as he has to try and somehow to hold this off, but it's not going to be an easy task because he's got players coming from all angles.
Yeah, and I'm really curious. Okay, so Rush is actually going to try and catch Devil Walk rotating because they know the only other player's at A. And that's actually a smart play because Peter's still going to be overwhelmed, but he manages to pick up the first and the second. And now he's got this limited down. Peter, unbelievable as he takes down Daps. A 1 versus 4, and now a 1 versus 1. Rush has to come back from apartments, and he knows that he just killed Devil Walk from that position, so he can only come from one angle, and he just has to play the time. Peter might be able to pull this back, all on a fake, and how appropriate that it's a no-scope. Unbelievable performance.
And that's the second clutch play we see for Peter to absolutely solidify a round for the Mythic players. A 4 kill from him holding on the site as a last player alive. Huge plays, and now that puts Mythic right back into this game at 6-6.
Insane stuff.
And all off of a missed rotate there, too. We saw that call from Rush because he went through underpass and managed to push up the steps there. Had you have not made the call that, yeah, guys, it's all clear here, rotate A because it's probably coming there, then they would have held that site no trouble at all, as Peter would have had to somehow enter against 3 players.
And the other aspect of that is that Rush, now they're going to stack up on A, by the way, and eLevate side because it's down to the pistols. Rush pushed out and caught Devil Walk, but he had so much confidence. He said, there's 3. I don't need to go. If he had come even earlier and overwhelmed Peter from both sides, there might have been a chance, but you wouldn't expect Peter to hit shots like that. Individual performances throw theory out the window. Slowing things down, though, Devil Walk has dropped, as is Rush. The gun's not recoverable, so they'll stay with these P250s, and that allows Anger's AK to just quite quickly take down 2, but he does eventually get answered by Nafly.
Naf is going to pick up another frag there, as we just mentioned. He takes down Anger, but again here, it's all going to be a little bit of a trick as Mythic now pushing 3 of their own into the B site. Nobody positioned there currently from eLevate. The closest player will be Daps, so just a little P250, trying to get himself into a good spot, but he's going to be way behind them now, working through underpass, trying to act as a surprise flank, and at the same time, we'll also see Naf working his way in through Market, a more typical route, of course, for the CTs, but the bomb going down, a 3-on-1, or 3-on-2, I should mention, position being held. Daps is going to have to make the big play here, otherwise, unfortunately, this retake is going to be crushed pretty quickly.
Daps is still looking in the direction of Peter as you hear that shot just rattle off the wall as he goes to the escape. Peter was low enough that he might have been able to catch him with the pistol shot, but now it's going to be a full save. Nafly's already in Palace. And where Daps has to have a pistol, he does have a chance to at least be a thorn in their side and try and knock more guns away, but that's not going to happen with Pit.
And now Naf as well, stuck way in Palace. He wants to save that AK, as Sadicus just mentioned, so won't be seeing too much play coming out of this one. I think now commanding it back, and now we have to wonder what's the response from eLevate to this one. What do they do to try and counter this back out? As Mythic have seemed to have gotten that stride back, and it doesn't look like it's going to be stopping anytime soon.
There's going to be another op buy for XP3. Everyone bought down extremely low on eLevate, so if they lose this, they're going to have to save for round 15, but there's also fragile economy on Mythic's side. So this could dictate the next 2 rounds. Daps, Nafly back to default. Daps already pushing up catwalk. Rush going to join into connector. And it's back to the same play as well for Mythic. They've got 3 over toward B. They'll play this slowly. That initial smoke out by Naf in the apartments lets him get up on top of the patio. But Pit's going to get a little more aggressive this time. So him and Lex are both lurking in toward B.
And Daps again moving in a little bit more earlier as well as he takes up his position. He's actually going to be on cat, so apologies. That play won't be happening as it had in the past 2 rounds. As again, we wait for Mythic to try and start that fake back over towards A. Flash is going to come out from Naf as he tries to peek this, but players from Mythic not anywhere near ready to make that play happen as of yet. And Mythic as well still keeping the bomb back. They're keeping it in a safe position just in case their first entry does not go so well. And such slow play here once again as well. Once the timer ticks down, we're sitting at just under 50 seconds at this point.
I'm interested to see if Lex is going to line up his smoke right here. I think... Okay, they're going to line it up directly for B. Lex has a really cool smoke from that courtyard that drops at the top of the connector all the way from B. And if he throws that, it's a second smoke, then the Devil Walk and Anger can follow up, and it actually makes the fake more convincing on A. But instead, they're actually going to bring the bomb back with Peter over toward Devil Walk and Anger and take A with Pit and Lex trying to force rotations, but they need to win the duels inside B. So far, it's a trade 1-for-1. And actually, it's going to end up going back against Lex as Akis finds that kill. Pit down. It's left to Peter because on the other site, everyone's dropped, and there it is, closing it out. XP3 finally taking that battle back his way. And again, this is going to force an issue with the economy. They're obviously going to force out in round 15, but it won't be a full buy here for Mythic.
Khalil on Peter as well as Lex still being able to afford an AK, but Pit using that, using the Deagle and Anger and Devil Walk, of course, in the Tech 9s. Everybody's still with a smoke and still with a pretty significant nade stack beyond that, though, so shouldn't have any trouble making the entry, but they're going to have to come out big with the aim. It's unfortunately eLevate still at a full arsenal. Naf as well, still using an AK from previous rounds, and XP3 still with an op, but now we see it starting here. Devil Walk, he's going to move in. He picks up a headshot on the Akis, and they slowly push back more as well, but XP3 with that repeat. Peter, though, as well as Devil Walk finding 2 more, and they now bring it into a 4-on-2 as eLevate, unfortunately, were not ready to hold that site, and they just obliterate them on that 15th round, despite mainly only having pistols there.
And the biggest thing there was that Akis went down. He had been the rock back on those CT stairs. The impact that he was able to have just by simply being efficient, you know, canceling one out on the entry and then being alive late in the rounds and making them have to put more attention in that position. As soon as he goes down that last round, it's very easy for them to just cover off the rotations, get the bomb down, and secure the site. Yeah,
and again, that's what we saw from Mythic there. They obviously, they started off pretty strong with the first 4 rounds, but then they run into a little bit of a bump in the road, and now we're going to take a look at the replays here as well, just to see what happened there. This is a nice play that came out there from Pit. Pretty good job at pretty much just decimating them with this entry back over, of course, and the ecos for eLevate.
This eco is really well done as well. Bomb's not down, so Anger has to take the fight, 2 HP. And this is what actually started the comeback for eLevate, because at this point it was 4-1 after that round, and then they actually brought it back to 5-4. And it was solid play in connector. XP3, this is the round with Akis. It was down to a 2-on-2 and eventually into a 1-on-1 as he wide peeks here. And we heard him make that call. We were actually in the comms to take down Akis, who didn't expect that peek. So XP3 had to clutch this out. And again, that continued the momentum forward.
And that, of course, is that grenade that completely killed Mythic there as they got momentum. And this is the play right here. Peter wasn't even expecting to get a frag there, but manages to catch. I think it was Akis who was dropping out of window at the time. And here's that final frag, of course.
That was just nuts. That's absolutely insane. I mean, like, those are the situations that as a team you just go, sure. I mean, yes, in a situation like that, someone could have played it better, but you just gotta go, Jesus, like, what do we do? Like, congratulations, Peter.
That's where you just hand it over, and you're just like, well, let's just forget that happened and go on to the next round.
Exactly. No, I mean, that had huge impact because the round, I mean, 8-7, so many situations, that one-on-one with XP3, that eco round, it could have easily been a lot more of an advantage here for Mythic, but now they'll start out on their CT side. And eLevate yesterday looked solid again against Maximum Effort, obviously 16-3, but solid as well on their T side. And Akis, I want to see his impact. I think he can really bring something. We'll see if XP3 can bring out that aggressive op, that T side op as well, but they're going to take the bomb right now in toward B, and it's Anger and Devil Walk that are going to be holding there.
Another thing to keep in mind here too is the fact that, again, we didn't really mention it too much, but Mythic picking up 8 rounds on the T side. That's absolutely huge, and that's going to develop them a lot more simply here on the CT side. But now the take is on Akis, the first one through, but he's going to get dropped there by Devil Walk. Anger also able to pick up a headshot and take out Rush. Anger gets aggressive here too and drops Daps. He's trying to hide out by the van, so now all down to Naf, and it looks like Mythic probably going to have a clean pistol round. Not a single player going down in the process.
Very well done. Very, very well done. And they're getting rolling. We saw actually as well after that Peter play just how pumped the rest of the team was when, you know, Devil Walk was just like smiling at him like, my God, man, you're a legend. So that, I mean, the point is they're going to get this momentum rolling in another really efficient round. See if they can build on this. They're going to go to 4 rifles. They get the MP7 out for Devil Walk. Only 1 M4. That's going to be on Pits, but they need, again, efficiency is the name of the game here. Prevent a bomb plant. They've gone to the CZs, Tech 9s, P250s. They brought out all the different pistols and armor on the T side. So this is a second round pretty aggressive buy.
Mythic already moving more players into the A site though to cover, as they are going to be able to call this pretty early. They need to come out here and look at all the damage being done to XP3 already. He's going to get dropped, and as well here Lex picking up a second as well as he's still hiding out by Ticket Booth. More reinforcements coming in now as well to try and take out Naf, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Peter finding 1 and 2. And although they do get the bomb down, Rush will not be able to hold for very long. He should be going down. He does pick up 1 before that happens, but now we'll see the defuse coming off.
The key to that is, though, and then the reason I said nice shot for Lex on the first one is because he picked up the bomb carrier, which is the last man in, which really could have caused a scramble, because the initial play is everyone go push, hold them off, get the bomb in position. As soon as he goes down, someone then has to recover that bomb and get it in, and it changes the play. Luckily, Rush still managed to get that in and start to build the economy. They go for a full save here and then have more utilities in the next round. I guess Daps, okay, he's deciding otherwise. He wants 1 single flash.
And a couple upgraded pistols coming out here as well. So yeah, they're going to go for a CZ on Rush, P250s, and a Deagle and XP3 to try and work a couple picks. Haven't seen a whole lot of crazy Deagle play this tournament, so I'll have to see what he can bring out.
Default smokes, slow down Aegis that's coming in from ramp. Bombs with Nath and Palace. He's going to let XP3 do the entry, but it's Lex and Devilwalk super aggressive. They're going to get caught off. Aegis, there's the entries. It may only be with the pistol, but it's perfect. He takes up the M4, and now they've got a real chance to take over this site. eLevate coming in with yet another eco round potentially. It's Pith and Anger that suddenly find themselves in an unfortunate situation of having to retake a site they would have thought otherwise about. Pith, though, discounted from jungle. He's going to get caught off by Rush, who was waiting inside connector, and Anger, I'm afraid he's going to have to just walk away with this one, concede the round, hang on to the FAMAS, and eLevate get much closer, much sooner than it would have been expected. Yeah, and eLevate's stealing all these guns too, so this is a huge play by them, as now they're essentially just going to flip the economy in the other direction here. Mythic, of course, with how fragile we know the CT economy can be, they're going to have to take a few rounds here to restabilize that, and eLevate, they're pretty much getting a free gun run off of this if they're going to choose not to upgrade those FAMASs, of course. And they are hunting him. They won't find him. He's going to be in a spot that's safe enough, but they know how much it would mean just to get that additional gun down as well. And Anger here, not going to meet up with anybody, so we will be able to make it through the round with that one. But now we see, of course, the buys coming out from eLevate as they've picked up everything. Not looking like we're going to see NAF or DAPS upgrade the FAMAS. There's really no reason to, with Mythic not being able to afford another buy here. A couple players still in a position to contest it, but I don't think they want to force things too heavily with how close this game has come so far. So they're just going to sit back, go with what they can afford, and eLevate here is going to get the cheap way out. XP3, he's in a bit of threat right now because he's solo on Horseshoe, but he makes the call. He should make the call right now that he's got two players pushing him, if not more. I don't think he spotted Anger and Peter, but they're going to go back toward A, and this allows eLevate. This is the point I was going to make. They can walk into B just with that information. So XP3 also staying alive. That helps massively, obviously, by continuing forward with this economy, but it's going to be a solid round here for eLevate. They just have to make sure nothing crazy happens. More importantly, not to drop weapons. Yeah, and as for Mythic, there's like nothing left to do at this point. Unfortunately, they're sort of forced off the site. They're trying to work a retake here, or at least get in positions to look for exits, but they just don't have the fragging power to get it right now. XP3 already lined up to take out these two. A little bit of trouble. He's dropped down to 52 HP, but he brings them down, and Rush kind of comes in there to steal the glory. He's going to take out Peter as well as Devilwalk. You can't hit him with the spray. I can. Yeah, don't worry. I got this, guys. Let me handle this. But Nath actually kind of rolling in there. He's going to drop Pith, and now you've got Anger again as the last one alive. He's camping out in Firebox, having a good old time. As again, nobody from eLevate dropping that round. 2 rounds in a row, Anger keeps this gun. Sentimental value at this point. Yeah. It's holding on to it. It's a dear friend. But he is actually going to hand it off now to a teammate here. That'll be going over towards Lex. The op finally coming out on the CT side here over towards Peter. And we'll see everybody else as well picking up the rifles. But again, it's going to be light here as you still have 2 FAMASs in the play, whereas eLevate, again, they're still using 2 of them as well because they got them for free, so they don't want to waste the money to rebuy them. But and the interesting thing is they haven't upgraded to M4s, so this does actually make a difference that there's no head armor out for Lex, Peter, and Pith. As usually on the CT side, it's less important. 2 kits. They do have a decent amount of utilities to slow this push, so we'll see how eLevate try and adapt to this. Rush has already gone for underpass, so he's inside of middle. He needs to make sure that he doesn't get caught by Devilwalk, and the rest of his team now with the short smoke on Cat, the close smoke will start to push up to the corner, and Peter just barely missing on that first op shot, has to fall back inside the site. Devilwalk now as well, trying to hold things back in connector as that smoke comes out, but they're definitely going to work a Cat push through off of this. Has a gain control there, and they're looking as well for Pitt, who is still inside of the window room, but not really going for any sort of aggressive peeking. Mythic players still holding off here on the A side as well, expecting a push to come in from there, and eLevate still trying to decide exactly where they want to take this. They're holding that bomb way back right now, outside of the combat zone, but Devilwalk there, he's going to be able to pick one up. Pitt finds a second now as he drops Daps and Rush, and Pitt with a great hold inside a window room, falling it back, of course, closer to CT spawn, but still enough to take out both Daps and Rush and put them into a 5-on-3 advantage. And that was a good read by him as well, because he knew they gave up Catwalk, they hadn't rounded the corner, and Devilwalk couldn't spot them, so where else can they go? Only into the ladder room, and Pith doesn't want to play too close, but doesn't want to give up map control, takes the correct angle. He's not going to take down Aegis as well, but they're still hitting onto A, and there's still a chance for them here. No, there's not. Never mind. Lex in behind on the top of the patio will shut them down, trying to come in from the front of A. Again, that's just another great response there coming out from the players here on Mythic. Good hold by them, bringing it up to a much more solid lead of 2 points against them, but eLevate saving all that money and really choosing not to upgrade any of the guns that they had scavenged off that second round, winning that eco. They are going to finally have to rebuy, and still with plenty of cash left in the bag too from those previous 2 saves. eLevate going 2 inside apartments, 2 already past the horseshoe now, but in behind the cardboard boxes at the top of middle. Devilwalk hasn't peeked them aggressively. And it's very different default we're seeing in a Mythic. We're not seeing that aggressive 3-peek at mid to start things off to control the map and then fanning back out with the rotations from either connector or, as we saw from Daps in particular, back into B to support NAF. It's more default straight out of the gate. There's no aggression. So this does actually, if eLevate can read this, give a lot of mid play to them potentially. In the last 2 rounds, they've tried to use it. Didn't work out last time. It may not this, because Pith, again, he's going to be the one to shut it down.
Pith, they're great positioning there. You saw that smoke and you knew the potential for a boost was alive, so he was able to catch that. He drops XP3. Anger trying to hold in the site, but they actually do let Anger through because Pith had fallen back to the safer corner. Will respond as well by taking out Akis, but a flash comes out. It is going to ding one of them, but it's not enough to take him out of the play. And now Peter's in the site, trying to play close angle, but again, Rush finding the shots there. It's actually probably going to be Daps that takes him out. Rush was able to pick up a kill into Lex. Now you're looking at Devilwalk, 2 very low players, however, here from eLevate holding the site currently, so all he needs to do is find those single shots. Picks up a headshot to take down Daps. Looking for another one now, but he gets dropped by Naf, and eLevate pick up that round.
You could take my spot on my team, Devilwalk, but you will never take the skill from my AK. Nafly comes out on top of it, and he actually played that well because he put himself in a position that was aligned with Rush. So even if Devilwalk took that initial peek, he would potentially overexpose himself, and then Rush would get the trade right away. So that was well played in that 2-on-1. And it gives eLevate another round, so it's 1 the difference.
Interesting choices mentioned too is they did have an op on the ground that they could have picked up off of Peter, but they're going to choose not to in this case. So just an interesting note that, again, eLevate, like Liquid, as a team that, and we'll get to this in a second here, as Daps is going to hold things off with a great spray, finds 2. Akis, of course, assisting to pick up the 3rd, to drop out Lex. Now you're just left with 2 alive from Mythic, as they're going to try to fastly rotate over here to the A side to get a hold, but already smoked off from eLevate. Anger will make a blind push, and he's already taken shots here. The flash actually in a good spot, but he got flashed too, so Rush will take him out, and now it's just Pith.
And Daps, where he's so low on HP, just sits in spawn to make sure they're not going to get flanked out. I'll get a bomb down. It won't matter. It's Naf to close out the round against Pit. And ties it back up. So 11-11, make a wish. And, I mean, we said this was going to be a battle. We said this could go either way. It's definitely proving to that right now. Now, the biggest problem right now for the CTs is, look at the economy. Rush on 11-4. We've got everyone in really good position to easily buy into the next round, if not more. If they can even get a bomb plant, if they lose 2 of those, there's a potential they could buy in the 3rd. And Peter, he's brought out the op, but everyone else is still so fragile.
And now Lex, of course, coming out here, tries to get aggressive, but Rush is able to respond to that quickly enough, and they only get a 1-for-1 trade. He does spot one more player, of course, which is the one that killed him, but not really getting an intel and anything else, of course. It is going to be a typical A push, and now as well, we've got 4 players from Mythic lined up. They're completely smoked off right now, so they can't really get themselves through this at this point. So Rush will get a free plant, and it's wide in the open, too, so now they can fall back, get to safe positions, and try to hold this.
And the interesting thing was there was a change in play right there from Mythic because they put so much pressure on mid that they gave up A. But let's listen in on eLevate because they just totally read that perfectly.
I'll wait for you, Def. Don't peek, don't peek.
They're in the side. Smoking ramp. Pushing me, pushing me.
There's no...
Inside, one triple, one triple.
One triple.
One firebox.
Spawn, still or not? He's on it. That's it.
Nice shit, David.
Good shit, man.
Saving the out. Good job, David. Good shit, man.
Nice fucking round, man.
Thank you.
Did you rape that first burst you threw?
I paused.
Solid again, XP3 when we listen in. 4 kills. That was a retake that I didn't think was even going to get that far, though.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely have to agree. The fact that they picked up those first two kills to find their way into the site to begin with was impressive, but good hold there coming out from XP3, and now we're actually going to see the pause coming out here from Mythic.
And that's a direct result of the fact that they have lost the economy. I mentioned they were fragile. eLevate's got a ton to work with, and being behind CT side, it's a lot harder to work back into it. Things are a little bit more expensive, so Mythic are going to use this time to make sure. I mean, it's a best of 1, and there's a lot to play for in it.
A lot at stake here, of course. Moving on to take on, and we're actually going to go to another listen now as the team is currently on pause. Let's take a look at the comms at the moment from Mythic.
Lose this one. This is a fucking huge opportunity. This is our CT side. This is the easy side of the map. Let's just fucking play lights out the rest of the game, all right?
Yeah. Let's do it, man.
Head up, boys.
Right here, lock it for Yaga, baby. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Hey.
No stress. Be confident. Just take the duels, win.
All right, and we are back, guys, now as we get unpaused here in just a moment. eLevate now leading against Mythic by 1 point. Very close game, 12-1, but eLevate with a huge economical advantage at this point, and Mythic having to clutch this round. Otherwise, it's very quickly going to go out of their control.
And that timeout, not using a lot of the time. Simply just to slow it down, take a breather, let Lex pep up the team. He's very good at that. I have to say, Lex almost has a chip on his shoulder this weekend, perhaps over the Luminosity deal, because he normally has such a lovely, lofty, happy voice, and he's almost got an anger that he just wants to win. He just wants to prove a point now that they are without a sponsor, and like I say, he just wants to take that time to get the team back into it. We'll see if they can do it on this eco. They've stacked up the A site with 4.
And the entries end up coming out here now. Akis is going to find one. Peter stuck inside a sandwich, so Akis will take him out too. Akis up to 3 kills here, just completely destroys it. Daps finding a 4th to take out Pit, but now it's Anger's the last one alive. And oh my goodness, Akis making the entry happen. Granted, only pistols for Mythic, but still finding those frags so quickly and very little damage going on to eLevate at all.
So even Again, building the economy, not having to reinvest. This is nuts. We're going to see Rush was pretty close to 16K at the start of this. They've easily got 3 more rounds in the bank. And how fitting that 3 more rounds is all they would need. But Peter gets the ult back out this time. They need to find an early kill. And again, they shifted so much pressure toward middle that they gave up A. They need to go back and find a way to control both and just find the balance between the two. Pitt's going to work up toward Catwalk, potentially support Peter. Anger has to play inside B, but right now there's pressure from eLevate in that direction. Rush is actually going to work underpass, so look for more mid-take again, and Peter's not looking at it.
Rush going to move up there through underpass now and just playing it again here. Purely rifles. This was the point I wanted to mention earlier where they had an option to pick up a free op off of Peter but chose not to. We've not seen an op picked up so far by XP3 on the T side. They're a lot like Liquid again where they really don't want to take the risk on having to go for the peak op shots and they just want to stick to pure rifling, and it actually works out for them as obviously again they've swung it back here with flying colors now on their T side. It's a 1-for-1 trade to start us off, of course, and XP3 is going to get a great molly. That's going to force a reposition on Peter. He has to fall back in. May actually end up working out a little bit because now he's going to be a little bit closer to B and he's actually going to find a pick here. He takes down Daps, but now the main player to look out for is going to be Anger here. He has to hold through Van, but it won't happen. Naf is going to take him down. Peter as well dropped to just 1 HP, and as well Devil Walk going down. Now it's on Lex. He has to hold from bench somehow. Or apologies, no, that's Rush looking at. But Lex coming in here away from the market, but considering he has picked up Peter's ops, he's actually going to fall back to CT spawn and try to save this.
They've got to do something about it. They've got to do something about mid. I mean, not only are they not controlling mid, they don't have a second player inside connector, so the problem is they can't spot Catwalk. Pith is forced to go passive inside the B site. They smoke off. Even if Lex can see over top of that smoke and call that they're working toward Catwalk, Peter can potentially rotate out of the window sooner and start to support the B site from inside market. But they don't even get a read until they're at the site right now. And the same thing's happening at A because they're not playing inside connector. Peter's staying late in window. Even if he rotates to jungle with the op, he's going to be overwhelmed. Lex is so far forward. They're not covering off every possible connection point. I mean, the guys in A are completely clueless to the information of where else they might get attacked from, and it's very possible that they now have to watch not 2 points, but 3, and the third one, where Lex is playing, is behind him, so it's an angle that he can't even see with his peripherals.
The other thing to mention here, too, is the fact we mentioned the mid control, and we saw a little bit of mid play going on there from eLevate, but for the most part here, these takes haven't really used all that much of mid. They've kind of only been doing that to draw players from Mythic out there, and it's worked out perfectly. We had that one round that you mentioned before where it just drew everybody from Mythic out there, and it was only 1 to 2 players. The real take was happening, of course, from the ramp, and for the most part here, we've only seen eLevate use the apartments entry as well as the ramp entry back over on A. So they're not using mid all that much, and it's working out in their favor as Mythic seem to think that there's going to be a lot of play coming in that direction, which is usually what we see Europeans doing. They're getting caught off guard by this, but now the trades begin here. Naf picking up Lex and Peter to respond along with Devil Walk for 2 more on the side of Mythic.
It was a little bit more pressure that time from Lex inside connector, and he at least makes the call for Devil Walk to get the kill, but Peter has to come up big on that first kill. Needs to stay alive for the rotations as well. And Devil Walk's actually made his way back through the jungle, so decent chance for him, but now he's going to get shut down by XP3. Problem is, though, this bomb's not planted, and now they have 2 on CT stairs with no smoke in front of them, so they'll be able to stop them even getting near the site. And a good closure to the round there by Mythic.
And now starting to bring it back here, but so much money, as we talked a lot about before here on eLevate. No trouble at all for the rebuy. The only player that's even remotely low at this point here is Daps. Everybody else probably still good to rebuy for 2 to 3 rounds without any issue at all. Like, they're pretty much good for this entire half at this point. The only player that would probably need drops is going to be Daps, and even so, I think everybody else can pretty much make up for that.
And again, they're giving up mid, but this time they're going to stack up it on Catwalk, so they can't work down as they've done so many rounds and try and push into B. Devil Walk gets in toward ladder. Rush is in underpass, so there's still a chance they can rotate this back over to A. Bombs with Daps inside B apartments, and he's just lurking forward, looking for Anger at this point.
Again, looking for that peak here, looking for that push to come out through connector is finally see.
The difference is, though, that Lex has gone back to that connector this round as well, so he'll be able to slow that down a lot sooner.
I was going to say, finally we see a lot more play happening towards mid, but Akis there doesn't spot Devil Walk for some reason, and now he finds 2 off of that play. Akis and XP3 both getting taken out, and all of a sudden the push that looked like it was going to come through the catwalk there has been completely destroyed, and Elevator sitting here wondering now where they should push this.
Naf's made his way inside A. Peter hasn't spotted him because of the entrance that he made. He's gotten in behind the box, so that means Lex had no idea he was coming, no comm at all. And now Naf, if he can take down Peter, has a chance to let Daps rotate all the way through T-spawn with that bomb. And Peter, he's the man who needs to make up for the mistake, the blunder of not making that call. He goes for the jump. Naf gets it and eLevate. They're right back into this round. They've pulled it back to a 3-on-3 and make it even better as Naf fly and Rush. They're going to collect 1 apiece. It's left to Pith. What a turnaround. eLevate Man, oh man, Nafly sneaking in undetected. And that's going to cause frustration.
They even know where Pitt is at this point here, too. He's going to try to, you know, falsify that with that jump that he moves over there towards the window room, but now he moves it back into connector. He's going to have to try and find a way in the site. But look at this crossfire setup here. 3 players can all peek him at once. There's no way he was going to get in through that site. Didn't really have any nades to work that either. So eLevate take him down, and now eLevate sit on match point here against Mythic, looking to move on and take on Cloud9.
Such a simple play. Just literally if Peter not scoped in, not looking in one direction, maybe even taking a chance and pushing out to spot Nafly as he walks in. Lex not getting caught off guard, it would have turned the round back and it would have been easily securable for Mythic, but how quickly it can change. So eLevate having a dominant performance yesterday over maximum effort in the lower bracket. 16-3, now look potentially to take down Mythic and move in to the semifinal, the best of 3, which will be against Cloud9 for them. So it's definitely a tall task, but still giving themselves a chance to qualify for Cologne. Lex this time pushed up inside the A ramp, as we see, with the pistols. They had to force out in this last round.
And now we take a look at the push that's about to come out here from the eLevate players. Lex actually pushes through a little bit, but Akis is able to pick up a frag. Lex trying to respond against Daps, but Daps with a good hold. And again here, Peter actually still with his hold. He finds one in the rush, but XP3 able to respond to that one as well. He's going to take down Peter. Daps actually will lose that duel that was going on back by T-Ramp. Lex is going to take him down. This isn't even 3-on-3, and more importantly, of course, the bomb now on the floor here too, with Lex winning that trade.
And Lex still going to be a problem. As he's got the eyes on it, they know they've got to come back. Pith is going to work inside A and try and suffocate eLevate, if you will. Make sure that even if they take down Lex, it's going to be very hard for them to work back in, but there's 40 seconds. They don't have to go to A, and Anger and Pith are both there, and they're going to expect this. The death cam should have been called, though. Lex should have been able to spot that, though, because it still would have been displayed, and Anger's actually going to react.
Just now, of course, though, and they're already halfway to the site, so it is going to be a little bit of a race to it. Anger should be able to get here in time, but look at it. It's going to go to mid and inside of connector instead, as they're going to toss that nade back over on a cat to try and throw it, and now Pith completely, he's actually got a pretty good spot here to watch this push. He's almost going to catch Naf there as he jumps down to Sandwich, picks him up, now looking for the second one as well as Akis rounds the corner. Akis is going to be able to pick up that frag. It brings it into a one-on-one, and now the bomb's going down with 8 seconds left. He's looking around for the player, though, so he has to force this plant. Thankfully, of course, Anger still really far away, just now entering connector.
And Anger rotates all the way to B. Pith stays all the way in A, and back through mid eLevate came. Even if they rotate into a point where if it goes to the other site, they stay together and force a 2-on-1. Anger luckily brings this back. That was essentially 2 1-on-1s and a 2-on-1 even against Pith. They could have played that in a better buddy system for Mythic, but every round is going to help here. As a 1-on-1, it goes a little bit further. 13 rounds now, Mythic. No kit. He's got all kinds of time.
And keep in mind here, too, that was actually a pretty big win for Mythic, considering there was very little investment for them. That was a broken buy that came off from those players that round, so actually didn't really invest too much, and now they should be able to get some rifles up. But it's still, even as you take a look at it now, the money situation still looking a little bit low here, so they are going to be forced up a bit. And Lex going for the Mag 7 here. Of course, the shotgun play.
I expect him to get super aggressive, and possibly toward Palace, because he's done the ramp side a number of times. He's going to go to Shadow at the very least. And yeah, look, already looking toward Palace door, but first blood goes to Devil Walk. That's a big pick.
eLevate sitting back now. Daps with the bomb pushed very far up at this point. Lex, if he does push through, he could take him down. And again, that's the play that allowed it to happen last time, was taking out the bomb. Rush, of course, causing a little bit of frustration. He's going to be able to take out Devil Walk after a trade from earlier where he took down Naf. And also, just to mention that too, Lex pushed forward, did take the AK off of the dead body of Naf, trading out that Mag 7.
Peter so low forced out of window. This brings Pith back over from B. And he can't re-enter window either. He's got to just watch this from the vent, and all the while eLevate, aware of the situation that window's been dropped, are going to head back toward B. So Anger's going to have to come up big, and he's also going to have to get this read very early to call for rotation. Pith will get there reasonably quickly, but Lex and Peter are a long way away.
And Pith's also already halfway down on his HP as well, so he's really not going to be able to peek too aggressively here, as he does have to worry about keeping himself alive. But the play does begin now, and those rotations are going to start coming in here. XP3 finds the opener, but Pith is able to respond. Akis, though, finding another one. He's going to take out Pith with a headshot. And now Peter coming out only at 15 HP, though, almost picking up that kill in a rush, breaking him down to 9 HP, and not a single shot connecting onto him, as that was all that would be needed. But yep, Akis as well, pushing out, looking for Lex. He's going to try to take him out. They get into a trade. Akis is going to win it there, finds the headshot onto Lex, and now everything is on Peter at this point, but they're going to go down, and this means, guys, that eLevate is going to be moving on to take on Cloud9 in the best of 3 semifinal.
Well done by Akis to read that perfectly. Knows that the Lex is still rotating. If he can cut him off before he gets there and not have them set up a crossfire to retake, as Peter was still alive. Peter did well in that situation on low HP, but it was never going to happen for him. So really good read by Akis. Again, though, another good play by eLevate. They completely took so much map control from Mythic. The default for Mythic just gave up far too much. And even not only giving up mid, that's one thing if you want to play a passive mid, but you still have to be in a position to get information. And the problem was, by the time they had the information, it was too late. They were already in the B site down Catwalk, I think 2 or 3 occasions. Connector giving up their in A. Lex gets overwhelmed. So definitely some work to be done on their CT side.
Yeah, and overall, I really like the work that we saw from the players on eLevate as we head into our replays now to check out some stuff from the second half here. Taking a look at Lex here now, and as well, this is a good teamwork play that came out from Mythic. We had that push coming up from the players on eLevate, and they were able to push in after that one and close things out pretty quickly.
And back, I mean, the first half, it was a money game, but the second half was a lot more clear-cut. And again, eLevate, just like yesterday, having this solid T side. XP3 as well, clutching out so many situations. This was another one that we were in the comms with him. Both times we were in comms, he won 1v1 situations, and again, took down Peter's op that he desperately wanted to save when he realized it was too late. So again, little victories, keeping the economy low. And on the CT side, they just never really got back into it. So
that was the interesting thing, though, from eLevate, too. I mean, I talked about this in the game itself, but from eLevate, I mean, we saw it once or twice, but we really didn't see a whole lot of mid control, which for some teams, like you talk about Virtus Pro and their strategy that we usually see on this map, it's extremely crucial. And I think due to their overall strategy here from Mythic, they had thought that there was going to be so much more play at mid, and they oftentimes repositioned players to there where they really didn't need to. That gave up the A side a lot of times and essentially gave eLevate free rounds where they were really only doing typical takes through Palace and Ramp, along with back over at B through apartments. All
right, well, XP3 and Moses are standing by.
All right, guys, sitting here with XP3. Put up some numbers in that match, and you know, you talked yesterday with Daps coming in. He's the in-game leader. Your full-time op role gives you a little bit more comfort, but on that T side, you were going full-blown AK.
I mean, I didn't see like the reason why I should be opping because we were playing like a pretty fast-paced T side, so opping would have not done really much for my team. So I was just like rifling, and I was feeling the AK, so I just stick to it when I'm feeling it.
Now, one of the things, bringing up Mirage, new team, new in-game leader. Probably not too much time to work on your map pool, but I mean that's kind of reaching deep. You guys went down to that one. That's just a surprising pick to see from you guys. Yeah,
because usually, like before, Mirage wasn't one of our best maps, and it was definitely one of our bans actually. And now we actually like Mirage. I don't know, because like when we made that team, we made a vote and like who likes them, which map do we like better or not, and basically like Mirage was one of the top maps, so we started working on that first, and that's why like Mirage will be one of our picks here.
And now you're going to be facing Cloud9 in that best of 3. So now instead of the best of 1, you have 3 maps, and just to build on that deep map pool, I mean, I don't have to tell you how strong they've been lately, but you know you're going to have to perform on multiple different maps.
Yeah, definitely, it's going to be a tough match. But the good advantage maybe that we have, the little advantage is like there's not much like stuff out there for Cloud9 to study, so we might have a little bit of an advantage on some maps. But other than that, it's going to be a really tough match. But we're going to try.
Cool. And last thing, you mentioned yesterday, talking about Akis, inexperienced player, young guy you guys brought in. He had a big day yesterday. You said it gave him a lot of confidence. So tell me, how do you think he's been performing so far?
I mean, so far, like he's been doing everything we expected out of him. He's playing pretty well. He's confident. Like he doesn't sound nervous when he's playing with us, talking in game and anything. I think we bring a good environment for him to actually just focus on his game and not like worry too much about his own performance, since we have some people behind him to pick it up if he's like slacking. But he played pretty well overall, so I'm pretty proud of him so far.
Cool. Well, good luck. Congratulations. And we're going to go to a little bit of an extended break ahead of schedule once again. So we're going to be back at 12:30 Pacific, which is 3:30 Eastern, and we'll see you guys then.